Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, and I'm here to review The Wrestler, January 1988. So let's open the book and start reviewing. So there's an ad for the Horseman t-shirt. I would have loved to got that one of those shirts. Your letters. What's happening, all the latest stuff going down in wrestling, and this is talks about Ronnie Garvin beating Ric Flair to win the NWA World Title. Yeah, this was a really good match. You know, a lot of people talk about Flair's run with his matches with Barry Windham and Ricky Steamboat, but they don't talk about his matches with Ronnie Garvin. The two matches they had in '87 was really good. When Ronnie won the belt and then when Flair got it back, I thought both of those matches were really good. And you know, just weird how once he won the belt, it was, I don't know if that's because when at first once, because it says in here that he wrestled Ric Flair in a rematch, and then he wrestled Bubba Rogers, and I guess after that, then he stopped wrestling, and it's just like that just killed the whole gimmick by having him not wrestle after that. Like he criticized about, you talked about how he was going to be the working man's champion, defend the title, and then he won it. Then he stopped wrestling. He stopped defending the title, and that just made him. Then he his first title defense, one of his like maybe third or fourth title defense, he wound up losing to Ric Flair. So I think Ronnie said that Dusty Rhodes tried to set him up by booking him like that. So I don't know, but that just was not a good look to have Ronnie win the title and then not defend it. Correspondence reports where people from the area write in about the matches that they saw, and this talking about the match between Chris Adams and Terry Taylor, Michael Hayes off the street album ad. You asked us. This is where fans ask a question to a wrestler and the wrestlers answer it. Thumbs up and thumbs down. Let's read a thumbs up from Randy Savage. Thumbs up to Randy Savage. Chivalry is not dead, as the Macho Man proved at the WWF September Madison Square Garden card. Yes, Savage is certainly turning into a gentleman. After a rousing non-title match victory over Intercontinental Champion the Honky Tonk Man, Savage took in the cheers of the fans while his beautiful manager Elizabeth stood by. Usually Elizabeth will hold the ropes open for Savage so he can step out of the ring, but this time Savage held the ropes open for Elizabeth. It was a touching moment that was acknowledged by the wildly cheering fans. So Macho Man used to treat Elizabeth like crap, but then once Macho Man turned into a good guy, he started treating Elizabeth really well. Okay, thumbs down. Paulie Dangerously. Thumbs down to Paulie Dangerously. Yeech. This guy really gives us a bad taste in our mouth. He always he's always up to no good. At a recent AWA TV taping in Las Vegas, Dangerously had the nerve to offer Tommy Rich a job and called him a sissy. Then he distracted the referee Gary DeRusha while Adrian Adonis ran in and attacked Rich during a match against Tom Stone. Dangerously and Adonis then put a pink dress on Rich and wiped lipstick on his face. To top things off, Randy Rhodes smashed JT Southern's right shoulder with a telephone handed to him by Dangerously. This cowardly man must be stopped. So Paulie Dangerously been causing havoc for years, for decades now. Some back issues of the wrestler and Inside Wrestling. introducing Jason the Terrible from Canada, from Stampede Wrestling. I gotta look at some of his matches. I still never seen his matches. I've read about him, but I never watched any of his matches because I actually haven't watched a lot of Stampede Wrestling. So that's something I gotta do. I know there's some Stampede Wrestling on YouTube, so I would like to watch some of that stuff. Q&A of Alvarez, the world class champion Alvarez. This was after he won the title from Kevin Von Erich via forfeit, and he was champion, managed by Gary Hart. Yeah, it's crazy that Alvarez didn't become a bigger star. He had to look for it. I thought he was a good wrestler, but just never really made it. X-Ray, Jerry Lawler, with six legends. Talk about Lawler's wrestling career. Spotlight on Sensational Sherry. Well, I guess she was sensational at this point. But yeah, Sherry Martel. This is after she left AWA and she came to the WWF in her first match in. She beat Moolah for the Fabulous Moolah for the WWF Women's Championship. So this is her giving the spotlight on her career. Nikita Koloff versus Terry Taylor, unscrambling the TV title picture. This is when Terry Taylor was the UWF TV champion and Nikita was the NWA World TV champion, and Terry challenged Nikita to unify the titles. This was before I started watching, cause I never actually got to see the UWF in real time, but I just know Terry Taylor's with Eddie Gilbert and probably should have won, but the NWA wasn't going to put the UWF people over them. So, victim of circumstance, why Kurt Hennig will never get the respect he deserves. And this is when Kurt was the AWA champion, AWA World Heavyweight Champion. But of course, the AWA wasn't at its top at that point. It was kind of, I guess it was already down. And so he was the champion, but it was like, at that point, what did it even mean to be AWA World Champion? Because it just wasn't, the promotion was not the major leagues like they like to say. Is AWA Heavyweight Champion Kurt Hennig deserving of the accolades that accompany a world title, or is he destined to remain the Rodney Dangerfield of professional wrestling? That's a good looking picture though, Kurt though. He looks like a champion. It looks like a champion that deserves respect in this picture. The experts agree the Road Warriors would turn bad in 1988. Vicious, sadistic villains with little regards for rules, the Road Warriors are paradoxically the most popular tag team in wrestling, but the Warriors' popularity has kept them from winning the NWA World Tag Team title. Are they ready to turn their backs on the fans? So this was, even though the cover date is 88, this was still in late 87. So they did eventually turn heel in 88. It was just late, like in October of 88. So I guess they were right because the Road Warriors did turn bad in 88, even though this is a story from 87. But they did turn, the Road Warriors did, the experts were right. The Road Warriors did turn bad in 88. One Night War with Ted DiBiase. Hacksaw Duggan returns to the WWF, but for how long? When Hacksaw Jim Duggan was suspended from the WWF following his arrest for marijuana possession, many fans thought that the career of one of the sport's most exciting grapplers had gone up in smoke. Now, like the phoenix that rises from its ashes, Duggan has returned, but will it last? So this was after the whole deal with Duggan and Iron Sheik getting caught together with drugs, driving together with drugs. Like I said, I was watching WWF at this time, but I never watched the news. Heard this made all the news headlines, but I never watched the news, so I didn't hear about this thing until like years later. Cause I didn't get every magazine, so I guess the magazines that they talked, the wrestling magazines that they talked about this in, I didn't get. So I was shocked to hear that they got him and Iron Sheik got caught together while they were feuding with each other. While they were feuding with each other, they got caught driving together. I was shocked about that. Like, and I just did not hear anything about it because of course, they're not going to talk about it on wrestling. And I didn't watch the news, so I didn't know anything about it. Yeah, his match, he had his match. It was his first match in WWF against Ted DiBiase, and of course, they had that big rivalry in Mid South. A spectacular contest. Win a Caribbean wrestling dream cruise for two. I guess this is from Pro Wrestling This Week. They had a contest. I guess it was in combination with Pro Wrestling This Week and Pro Wrestling Illustrated to win a cruise. Actually not, you could actually pay for the cruise, but you could also win a free cruise, win a free trip for the cruise instead of having to pay. So, and it was with wrestlers with it was a cruise, and the people that would be on the cruise would be Jerry Lawler, Wendy Richter, Nick Bockwinkel, The Missing Link, Paulie Dangerously, Ken Mantell, Red Bastien, and Bruiser Brody, and Bill Apter and Craig Peters from Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and Gordon Soley, and the people from Pro Wrestling This Week, Joe Pedicino and Bonnie Blackstone. So I don't know if this actually ever took place. I think I remember hearing something about that. It never actually happened. So I would like to know. It would be interesting to see if that happened, and it would be cool to actually hear from people that actually went on there. Matt Brock's looking at Bobby Shane versus Jack Briscoe. I never really heard much about Bobby Shane. The only thing I heard about Bobby Shane was that he gave his crown to Jerry Lawler and then he died in a plane crash. That's all I heard. But I'm just seeing some of the stuff in the magazine, and I guess he was a big deal. I know Pro Wrestling Mags talks about how good he was, and I guess he had seen him in his day, and he showed how he was in a bunch of those magazines in the '70s. But I had never. That's the only thing I heard about him. Bobby Shane was that he gave Jerry Lawler his crown, and it went, and then died in a plane crash. But apparently he was really good, and he got a lot of write up in those magazines back in the day. The official ratings, the top 10. Number 1, the WWF champion Hulk Hogan. Number 2, the NWA World Champion Ronnie Garvin. Number 3, Ric Flair. Number 4, the U.S. Heavyweight Champion Lex Luger. Number 5, the UWF Heavyweight Champion Steve Williams. Number 6, the Western States Champion Barry Windham. Number 7, the NWA TV Champion Nikita Koloff. Number 8, the AWA World Champion Kurt Hennig. Number 9, Randy Savage. And number 10, the Al Perez, the World Class Heavyweight Champion. And the top tag teams: number 1, the Road Warriors. Number 2, the WWF Tag Team Champions, the Hart Foundation. Number 3, the NWA World Tag Team Champions, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. Number 4, the U.S. Tag Team Champions, the Midnight Express. Number 5, Strike Force. Number 6, the Rock and Roll Express. Number 7, the British Bulldogs. Number 8, the Lightning Express, the UWF Tag Team Champions. Number 9, the World Class Tag Team Champions, Shawn and Steve Simpson. And number 10, Dino Bravo and Greg Valentine. Let's check the World Class ratings. The World Class Champions, Al Perez. Number 1, Kevin Von Erich. Number 2, Ted Arsini. Number 3, Brian Diaz. Number 4, Tony Atlas. Number 5, Eric Embry. Number 6, Matt Bourne. Number 7, Steve Simpson. Number 8, The Iron Sheik. Number 9, Shawn Simpson. And number 10, Al Madrill. She got those mid-southern ratings. I just don't understand why they couldn't just call it CWA. This is a continuation of You Asked Us. Continuation of the Koloff vs. Taylor story. Back issues of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Continuation of the Kurt Hennig story. And they got a picture of him wrestling DJ Peterson, and I'm just like, I don't understand how come he didn't become a bigger deal. I can understand not being a big deal in the WWF or NWA, but you would at least thought like in AWA or Memphis, CWA or Texas, because he had the look. But I know he eventually won the tag team titles with the Trooper, later known as the Patriot. But you would have thought before that, that was in, I guess, 89 and 90. You would have thought like in 87, 88, he would have been a bigger deal in those regional companies. Continuation of the What's Happening column. And they talk about the passing of Scott Irwin from Scott Hogg Irwin, and him and Wild Bill Irwin. They the first time I heard of them, I had the AWA Remco action figures, and I got both of them. And then I saw Wild Bill wrestling on TV, but I never saw Scott Hogg Irwin, and I never knew what happened to him until probably a couple of years later when I heard that he had died, but I didn't know. But the first time I saw those guys, it was their action figures. Yeah. Continuation from the Dream Cruise story. Continuation of Your Letters. This month in Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Incredible turnaround. Randy Savage becomes more popular than Hulk Hogan. And full coverage of Ronnie Garvin's NWA World Title victory over Ric Flair. On Inside Wrestling, has Hulk Hogan finally become bored with the WWF title? And special warning to the Rock Roll Express: you can't take on the Four Horsemen alone. Continuation of Your Letters. Back issues of Sports Review Wrestling. Correspondence report. They talk about a match between the Hart Foundation versus Kamala and Sika. And it was like two heel tag teams, and the Hart Foundation won. But then Kamala beat up on Bret Hart and splashed him. Bret Hart had to be taken out on a stretcher. So, be interesting to see that match. The Hart Foundation versus Kamala and Sika. They have an ad for Chris Adams International Fan Club where you get autographs and t-shirts and pictures and a bandana. So, International Fan Club of Chris Adams. Okay, that was the January 1988 issue of The Wrestler. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again later.